I think we might be back. Are we alive? We back. Okay. Yeah, so I got raided, right? So that means we have to be back. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens to viewership at that moment in time. I'm very curious. But with YouTube, every time that happens, I have to reinitialize it, and so a new instance of it will occur. Welcome back, YouTube. Sorry that it's that obnoxious. But thank you so much for the raid, Elementality NJ. Is that New Jersey? I don't know. Oh, and I guess I missed a super chat, so apologies to Pokemaster. Are there any kits that are universal and can be used on every weapon? Or are there some kits only for specific weapons? Is there a weapon in the game that wouldn't like Splat Bomb Inksuka? Probably not. It's probably also not a weapon in the game that wouldn't like, Splat Bomb missiles or Suction Bomb missiles. I don't know. There's some weapons that don't like Suction Bombs as much. Splat Bombs are pretty much universal. Burst Bombs are good on most things. I don't think anyone would object to a Booyah Bomb either. Most of them are very dependent on weapon, though. How is it at S+, I still have splatter shots hugging me on mincemeat? Happens. we are scared sometimes. If you fight the router ghost, have you taught them a lesson or decided to offer up your next sacrifice? Oh, goodness. How's the splatting going? I've played like maybe 3 games on this stream, and I've just been kind of answering viewer questions the whole time. But I don't know, it's a vibe. I like it. It's kind of chill. Lets me get my aim practice in, so I can be more cracked on the Splatooner shot that I'm using. Ugh, I'm never saying that again. Do the Swiffer thing? Oh my god. Opinions on Splat Dualies, love the main weapon. Viable? There are a lot of situations where I would probably prefer a Splash-O-Matic. But if you want to run Dualies, it gets Crab Tank. It has a bomb. Those are both good things. I used to think it was just completely outclassed by the Splash. And then I saw a comp that completely changed my mind in one game. What they were running was Tetras, Splat Dualies, I think like a Flingza and Junior or some kind of support weapon or something. And what was happening was they were just diving together because both of those weapons were capable of going into enemy ink and not caring. And the Splat Dualies got a Crab Tank, which was a more useful special, but it could also just dive in with the Tetras when they went into feed to help improve the feed. There was a Japanese player by the tag of Ku, if you want to go and look that up. We were playing in, I think it was an Area Cup. So, I have seen the light. I believe that the weapon is definitely usable in top-level competitive play. How does the movement for motion aim go? I'm kind of confused. It's hard for me to learn. I have an entire video on that, but I'll give you a quick rundown. So, positionally, like physically, let me get set up so that you can see. This is a little bit unstable, but we'll try not to die. So, and let's turn this way so you can actually see me. All right. So, I've got my thighs here with my feet grounded normally. Right now they're up on the chair, but... And I put my forearms on my thighs so that they are very, very steady. Because my legs are grounded, so my forearms are grounded, And the only way that I move the controller, left and right, is by pushing my right arm forward and bending my wrists to allow for the controller to move that way, or moving it back. And if right arm forward, left arm back, left arm forward, right arm back, you know, that kind of motion back and forth. And that keeps this pretty steady, even as randomly as I'm swinging it around right now. You can see that my aim is staying at eye level, because I'm not moving my hands, I'm just moving my wrists. Then for up-down, you're just tilting like this, and that's something that you just have to get used to. So that's the physical motion of it. Now let me get back down. Ah! I just unplugged my controller by mistake. Okay. It's hazardous when I do that demonstration. It's perilous. Probably makes for good content. Kind of like those guys who hang off of skyscrapers. Except a little bit less dangerous. Anyway, then from there I have a whole bunch of drills that I do to counteract certain common aiming issues. Nice bomb, yeah, exactly. Hi again, Buzzyco. Had more splats than me, and I still got overall splatter. Enemy splatter is kills. Splat assister is assists, and an overall splatter should be highest KA. Unless you're getting, like, the silver medal for second overall splatter. Like when you sneeze and the camera goes crazy, yeah. Favorite ink color combo in multiplayer so far? I think it's probably like the default yellow and purple. But also I'm a fan of the red and green because it's new. Looks different. What makes Tri-Stringer better than Charger? I would not argue that the Tri-Stringer is better than the Charger. Well... The Ink Vac Charger, there's maybe an argument if you are a detractor of Ink Vac, if you think that Ink Vac is that bad. Top players in NA so far have not thought that Ink Vac is that bad, but maybe that's just because FLC has not gotten to them yet. The Tri-Stringer does have an advantage in that it can hit up over the top of cover and deal chip damage. Like, it doesn't have to be in line of sight of an E-leader. Therefore, it gets to survive having to play backline against an E-leader. KA is kills and assists. It comes from KDA, kills, deaths, and assists, which is a very common metric used in games that involve, you know, taking out opponents. For determining, like, your impact on, like, the numbers advantage of a match. You'll also hear KD ratio, which is the number of kills you got divided by the number of deaths. So a KD ratio of 3 means you splatted 3 players for every time you went down. But in this game, all of the numbers that you see for splats at the end of the game are kills combined with assists. So, like, in this game here, like, it says 12 there. That's the number of splats I got plus the number of assists I got. It adds them together, and that is the number that you see. So those could all be assists for all... Well, they weren't, because I remember that game, but those could, in theory, just knowing that number, be all assists. And the only way to know is to open the Splatnet app. Any recommendations for a weapon for a recovering Aerospray addict? Only weapon I can actually use right now, but I want to switch to something better. How are you using Aerospray? Were you playing it aggressively? Were you playing it supportively? Were you spamming fizzy bombs? Like, what was your play style there? Because what you want to do will determine what I will recommend. If you were just trying to, like, go in and splat people, something like a splatter shot is a good call. Something like, I don't know, maybe a Neo Splash if you want to be a little bit zippier. If you're trying to play supportively, I would recommend like a Junior or a Neo Splash. if you're trying to play, you know, Fizzy Bomb spam, then you can just play a sloshing machine. If you really like Reef Slider and you want to go ham, you could probably go like Tetras. It's going to be, you know, a challenge mechanically going from a shooter to that, but Tetras are fun. I really like Tetras. I kind of want to play him again after that game I had earlier on him. When I say support, I mean a pretty specific play style, which is you are playing a high paint weapon that you are going to use to paint the map until you get special, and you are only going to engage the enemy team having used that special first. Something like a Tetras, they're just going to run in and, you know, try and splat people. They don't care about getting their special first. They're not going to paint that much either. They're looking for the kills. But a support weapon, something like a Junior, something like a Splash-O-Matic, those are going to play much more heavily around their special and having that utility to the team. And they are also more likely to be the objective carriers in ranked modes. So like whoever picks up the Rainmaker, most likely to be your support weapon, if you're knowledgeable about the metagame anyway. That or the anchor, usually. Backline weapons are generally classified as anchor weapons. Now, I would argue that late game Splatoon 2 Jet Squelcher was more of a support weapon than it was an anchor, because it just kind of painted and got its special, and then painted again, and got its special again. Sure, it positioned in some backline locations, and it could give jumps back to the team when they got splatted, which is, you know, something that you would consider the anchor role. But the overall philosophy for how it wanted to play was very supportive. Is Splash a support? We are getting into dangerous territory here where we're trying to classify the weapon by just one playstyle. And I think that works for some weapons, and for others it is a trap, because every weapon can play every role and should know how to play every role to some extent. Sometimes your Tetras are going to have to anchor somehow, because that's the position that they get put in the match. Sometimes your Junior player is going to have to slay. And so the roles are more a way of assessing a weapon's strengths and weaknesses and thinking about like what that weapon should want to do in the neutral game before any advantage state occurs, so that it can position to potentially give itself an advantage and let itself play to its strengths. But like, you do whatever your team needs you to do. If your team needs you to ride tower, I don't care that you're supposed to be a Slayer weapon. You ride that tower until your support can take over. So, is it a support? It is often classified as one, but I would also say that it slays very well. I would not call it an anchor weapon, because it doesn't have the range. Although it can do anchor-like things with its burst bomb. And if it is the last player up, which it's unlikely to be, being that short range, but if it is the last player up, it can definitely back up very effectively to give jumps for its teammates and position safely. But then also, it transforms into an anchor when it uses Crab Tank. Crab Tank is basically just turning your weapon into a Hydra with Explo shots. So all of a sudden, as soon as you pop Crab Tank, now your weapon basically does function like an anchor. So, I don't know, maybe it does. A well-painting Hydra is another important part of that. What would you do to improve Tri-Strike? Honestly, I don't know that it's as bad as people are saying it is right now. I think the big problem with it is that it is a high skill floor. It is way harder to use than Booyah Bomb, and so people are like, well, why would I use this instead of Booyah? I think it can be pushed a lot higher than people are giving it credit for. Like, I think that the Slosher is still one of the best weapons in the game, and that it's like, once people are better at Tri-Strike, they will value the vanilla Slosher more than they currently do. Yeah. A very well-balanced weapon is a good description of basically any short-range shooter. And the thing about that is that makes it kind of unbalanced, if you think about it. And in terms of, like... It has balanced stats, and what you're saying is it's, like... And what I'm joking is that it's an unbalanced weapon that way. Short-range shooters are just kind of the best weapon class a lot of the time. Like, for a lot of situations, they're just... A lot of things they do well, and they don't have that many weaknesses. So... You can never really go wrong with playing the meta short-range shooter at the time. Like, there's always going to be one of those in the meta. And another advantage that shooters have is that there are so many of them, so many different types, that are all going to get different kits, that you're going to find the special you want at some point. Splatoon 2 launched with no alt kits? I think it did. Thoughts on using a large range of weapons that all fulfill similar play styles in different niches? What does that mean? I need to parse that. Fulfill similar play styles in different niches. Yeah, I think that is exactly the way that you want to, you know, pick a weapon pool. Just get everything, a whole bunch of stuff that plays the same way, and then pick which of those things that play the same way you want based on the small advantages that they give you based on the map and mode. I think that's a great way to think about it. Fragnum? Fragigenum? I don't know. Thank you so much for the donation, Hydro Airplane. Just want to say thank you because your videos got me into motion controls, and I'm finding using different weapons more enjoyable, especially the more precise ones. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you are enjoying the game more as a result of that. That is so huge. Yeah, I could not imagine trying to play Tetris with stick controls. That's just... These weapons are made for motion. The biggest advantage of these weapons is that they are firing while they're rolling. Well, if you're going to be able to hit people still while you're rolling like that, you need really precise aim that is based on where you anticipate rolling to. And you're just not going to get that as fast on sticks, so... I'm super glad that we converted you. What are the best clothing perks universally best on all weapons, or is there none? There are too many. There are some that are pretty universally good that most weapons at least want to consider. LDE is one of them. Last Ditch Effort. Last Ditch Effort just gives you an insane amount of gear for one main's worth. Stealth Jump is super useful for most weapons, although you wouldn't want it on something like an E-Leader, because an E-Leader is not going to be jumping to the front lines anywhere where it should be seen. So, like, even with the best ones, there are some caveats. Ninja Squid is seeing a lot of use right now, although there are comps that are being designed to counter Ninja Squid, now that it's become so much a part of the meta. So that's something to watch out for. Swim Speed is just universally good on everything. I can't think of any weapon that doesn't at least like swim speed. There are some weapons that won't run swim speed because there are other things that they want more than they want swim speed, but nothing like doesn't want swim speed. Those are the biggest ones I can think of. Everything else is really situational. Like, some weapons are ink hungry, and so they like ink efficiency. Some weapons can ink for days, and if you're using it, you're really wasting a slot on something you don't need. Some weapons want quick respawn so they can feed, like the Tetris. Yee, feed! You guys saw me earlier. I was totally feeding. I died like 12 times in that game. Then other weapons, that's an absolutely ludicrous thing to do. Some weapons can use Respawn Punisher, and other ones, if you're using it, you are flexing, because there's no other reason to use that. So, depends. Run speed on anything that isn't a shooter. I mean, run speed isn't bad on shooters either. There was a time where NZAPs were running it pretty universally. It's a lot less useful for weapons that are going to swim strafe. So, like, shooters will fight by firing a couple shots and then swimming. Doing this sort of thing. And so most of the movement that they're using while they're fighting is actually swimming and not running. They'll fire the 3 shots they need to splat, and then they'll move by swimming. And it's the swim speed that you really care about. But the run speed still helps. Like, it makes you paint better. And it makes you harder to hit while you are firing those shots. Any specials that justify running special up? That I don't know. It's been a long time since I've checked in on that gear perk and seen whether people are enjoying it. I have not been seeing people run mains of it. But it's entirely possible that there are some where you want it. I would look up what it specifically does for your weapon and think if that's something that you want as a part of your playstyle, if that's important to you. And then think about, like, okay, now what do I replace with this? Splash or splatter shot? Yes. I like. Both good. Both fun. Both go pew-pew. All important things. Any controller recommendations besides the Pro Controller? My next recommendation after that would be Joy-Con grip. With Nintendo stuff, you never want to get a third-party controller. You always want the first-party stuff. They will always function better. Learned that the hard way with GameCube controllers. How useful is it to just kill all game? Oh my god. There are so many questions where I'm like, oh man, if only I had just finished this video, I could be like, hey, watch this video I just put out. There's a video coming out this weekend. The second video in the What Am I Doing series, which talks about how to play the objective and how to think about it, how to conceptualize it, that will be a new paradigm for a lot of people who are not familiar with competitive Splatoon. I think the way that I present the way the objective works is going to make everybody go, oh, I understand what I'm doing now. And it will even be very applicable to other modes. Those of you who have seen FLC's lectures on the fundamentals of the different game modes, those are, it's very much cribbing from those sorts of, that sort of content. But I wish I could just show you that video now, because kills literally do not matter if they do not apply to the objective. Like, if your splat is not letting your team push the objective further, then your splat was an unnecessary risk. Even if it was just a 1 for 0, like, you need to be able to use that 1 for 0 pick to get some kind of control over the objective. So, for example, if you get that pick and then use it to, you know, take that 4v3 numbers advantage to go and wipe the enemy team because you have numbers advantage now, that's valuable, because that can help you push the objective without the objective being defended. If you get a pick on someone who is threatening your Tower Rider or your Rainmaker carrier or your Clam holder, that is a valuable pick. If you got a pick in the enemy base while they were knocking the Rainmaker out in your base, that is the absolute worst thing you can be doing, and your teammates will hate you for it. It is not the kill itself that matters, it is what the splat enables you to do with the objective. So there are weapons that are built into comps that are there primarily to get picks, but they need to get picks on the right people at the right times. They need to be going for the right fights. Because if you don't have an advantage when you start a fight, you're taking a coin flip, and people who just take coin flips are going to have really unsatisfying 50-50 win rates in those fights, and are probably not going to contribute much towards the objective most of the time. What's your favorite skirmisher weapon? I do like the Dualies Squelchers. They're fun. What else do I play? 52 gal. I'm not good with wall, but it's probably the one that I'm best mechanically at right now. It's also kind of a slayer. I don't know. Again, like, classifying the weapons by a single roll is dangerous, because every weapon, like I've said, does every roll. So, like, I skirmish when I play with the splatter shot if I've got a teammate who can help me win that fight. It's not like I would call this weapon a skirmisher weapon. This is definitely a slayer weapon, just for the sake of giving it a roll. But every weapon needs to know how to skirmish, or else they are going to die too often and not contribute enough to fights. Do you use any weapons with Tri-Strike? I use Splatter Shot and Blaster, and neither of those have Tri-Strike. The best weapon that I would have that has Tri-Strike is the Vanilla Slosher, and that is considerably worse for me than either of those two weapons. I do like the Power A GameCube replica controller that is actually a Pro controller. That thing has actually felt pretty good, and those things lasted pretty well for us when we were using them for gaming events when Bravest Esports was still a thing. So if you're going to get a non-Nintendo controller for whatever reason, the Power A ones are definitely usable. They came out with like a GameCube-like that I have used for Splatoon, and it works just fine for that. How would someone get to be a caster for Splatoon? I really like the comp scene, but I suck. You do not need to be the best player to be a caster. You just need to study the game and have at least a little bit of a grounding in how competitive games work. But, like, I was a lot less knowledgeable than I am now back in 2020, and they still let me commentate Genesis. Now, part of that is because I had previous commentary experience in another game, and so I already kind of had my sea legs, and I was already a streamer, too. But, you will definitely find, like, random locals or whatever that will let you cast if you just know who to ask, you know, the tournament organizer or whoever. They'll give you a shot. But if you know, are not especially knowledgeable about the game, that is something that, you know, is a kind of qualification that a caster should have. You should be able to add to what is happening in the game in some way. It doesn't have to be, like, super informative and educational like I try to be. Thank you so much for the raid, Ginger Ale. Ginger Alesy. But, you don't have to be, like, an educational commentator specifically. That doesn't have to be, like, your thing, your niche, like it is for me. But maybe be funny. Maybe be really good at play-by-play and making, you know, kind of controlling the momentum of the cast that way. Being able to kind of crescendo at the right times and let it kind of come across to other people with the excitement that each step in the proceedings deserves, so that they know, like, even a new player can know when they hear you, like, oh, I don't know what a power clam is, but the fact that they have one is definitely exciting, and, you know, people will learn about it from that. You gotta put something into it that is more than just what they can see by watching the match. And in order to do that, there has to be some kind of knowledge, some kind of skill set. Definitely recommend improv classes if you're ever able to take something like that, if you're trying to be an on-screen personality. I didn't take them personally, but I know so many content creators who swear by them that, like, they were one of the biggest helps in improving someone's stage presence and everything. I get all of my experience actually from teaching, and teachers actually tend to make pretty good streamers too. Like, Milana is also a teacher. That's a skill that transfers over because you're constantly presenting information to people. So, I want to improve as a Dualies user. Any tips? I mean, I guess I can talk about mechanically, because I don't know which Dualies you're talking about, and I don't know what your particular, you know, strengths and weaknesses are as a player. But the biggest thing mechanically with Dualies is whenever you roll, as soon as you are done rolling, okay, this is a bad example because Tetras are actually firing earlier. Let's go with the Glugas. That works. As soon as you roll, you want to already have your aim on so that your very first shots hit. So there, that wasn't a good roll because I didn't correct enough for my aim. So in the training room right here, you want to get used to what distance is my aim going to change by when I dodge roll. So that I just, by muscle memory, whenever I dodge roll, my aim is immediately on. And that doesn't necessarily mean you always want to be like aiming this far off the target before you roll. What that might mean is that you dodge roll here, and then you dodge roll here, and try to correct to keep your aim in the right spot every time. But this is like the most important mechanical skill, because you just need, as soon as you get into turret mode, you need to delete someone and be able to move on. You can't sit here in turret mode very long because you're a sitting duck. So you need to have that aspect of the weapon figured out. Now with Tetras, they're even harder, because you fire shots in before you actually finish the roll. So you just want to always have your aim on with this weapon for as long as possible during your dodges. You want to have your aim onto the target. And you also want to be able to like strafe around like this and strafe forward and back like this and still keep your aim on. And that is ludicrously difficult at high level. Because the advantage of this weapon is not its kill time. Like, a splatter shot kills faster than this. It needs to be able to outmaneuver people. It needs to make them miss or bait them into thinking they can get into range and then kiting them with its long-range shots. That's kind of how it needs to win fights. So, or it just gets on top of the backliner and deletes them because it still has a decent kill time. But, okay. How did you get used to the new squid roll and stuff? I'm really struggling. If you really want to learn how to squid roll, what I would, and this is something I recommend for a lot of things. If there's a new technique you want to learn, just use it too often. Overuse it. Just spam it. Like, you want to initiate a fight? All right, here, I'm going to get you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get you. Oh, this is so unnecessary. Oh, I do not need to do this, and it's actually making it harder. Just, like, do this everywhere. Every little bit of movement. It's like, oh, no, wait. I can squid roll that. Yeah, see? I'm gonna squid. And look at this. I'm gonna set this up. So I can go like, what? Like, woo. Oh, wait, I messed that one up. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. You know? Just, like, every little thing that you do should be in service of practicing this one thing. And over time, you will learn, okay, this is... I'm not getting any value out of squid rolling into fights like that. Like, this isn't really doing anything for me that I can't just do by, like, walking up and shooting at them. So I'm just going to stop doing that one. And you figure out what works and what doesn't through experimentation. Working on my college's Splat organization right now. Your videos make a great resources for me to share with newer players. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm supporting that, too. I really want esports to take off harder than they currently are in high school and college. I think that is so huge for so many scenes for that to be happening. And it's really cool that Splatoon is trying to do that as well. If there's ever anyone, you know, in doing college or high school level esports stuff for Splatoon that wants, like, me to commentate one of their matches or analyze something for them, I would love to do that sort of thing. Hit me up in the DMs. Super happy to do that. Where do you find out about tournaments? Oh yeah, Liquipedia is not the 5th place that I think to look. You want to get on Discord. Get on Discord, go to Inkopolis Crosswalk. And there are all sorts of different Discord servers there for you to check out. There is a Splatoon competitive feed, which I actually have linked to the Squid School server. So if you go into resources, I think. No, it's a separate channel. Tournaments feed. is the Splatoon competitive feed. So check that out if you're looking for tournaments. And Inkopolis Crosswalk as well is gonna, that's gonna put you into the Dapple Production server, the IPL server. That's where most of the major LANs are happening. So, what kit do you predict Nintendo will give the weapons you use as their second kit? I cannot predict what Nintendo is thinking. I have no idea what they would ever consider trying to do. I am not a Japanese game developer, nor do I work for that wild and wacky company. Do I limit my performance by using scope chargers instead of the unscoped ones? They both have massive pros and cons. The unscoped ones have better peripheral vision, which is really, really important for collecting information, and also have better movement. But the scoped ones have more range, which is a massive advantage, especially in the like charger battle. That can easily make the difference between a winning and losing matchup. So sometimes people run different ones for different situations. A lot of people just prefer one over the other and use that instead because they're used to one more mechanically than the other. I think they're both viable. Homogenizing roles, getting closer to a role-less game would be healthy for the game. The roles are analysis that we impose on the game. The role is not an inherent thing to the game. Like, the roles exist because of the state the game is currently in. We would have to massively change the balance of the game and the way weapons work in order for these roles to no longer be accurate for the game. So I don't think that question quite understands the way that roles are understood and used by competitive players. What design do you think is better, Wasabi or Kensa Splash Shot? Visual design? I played Splatoon 1 for 2 hours. That's all the time investment I have in that game. I don't know what the Wasabi Splatter Shot looks like. Could not tell you. I don't know what kit it had either. It's green. Neat. I would have to go and look it up. I think people are underestimating Rapid Blaster. What are your opinions on Ink Mines? Ink Mines aren't bad. Like, there are definitely some times where I hit one and I'm like, well, I'm dead now, aren't I? But I don't know. Most of the time that I can think about a mine, I'm like, okay, but why not just have a bomb so that you can splat someone for sure, instead of a mine where you might be able to splat someone if they walk into that area. So it's not like it's gonna doom every single weapon in the game that gets it. Some weapons, it dooms them. Like, what the heck is an undercover umbrella doing with ink mines? I know, like, people will use them to combo in fights, but it's not reliable enough at high level where they're just gonna delete you for trying or not engage you for trying. Like, I think it really wants something else that it can poke with, something it can combo with. It wants something it can project out in front of it. Like, give it a torpedo, instantly a really scary weapon, which is exactly what happened with the Tensor Rapid in Splatoon 2. It's not 2 a.m., it's 1:40. Is now a 0-hour class. A 0 dark 30 class, maybe. How are people able to play Splatoon and have Discord open at the same time? You mean how are people able to, like, be on a conversation with each other? Because, like, I've just Monitor here. Monitor here. Discord on that monitor. Game on that monitor. And you don't really need to look at Discord. It's like the Switch is going to take up your entire TV. It's not like you can get a separate app on it. You just have a second monitor, like one for your computer and one for the game. Would you rather the second shot kit have Splat Bomb, Tri-Strike, the Wasabi kit? I don't know what the Wasabi kit is! Someone needs to tell me what that is if we're going to ask questions about it. What do you use to hear the game and the VC at the same time? I literally just have the TV volume at a level where I can hear it through the headphones. There are audio mixers that can help you with that, but I literally just, like, I have the TV volume high enough that I hear enough of it through the speakers while also hearing the callouts, and that works fine for me. I've never felt the need to get an audio mixer. It's cool when you do get one, but they cost like $200, and I'm like, I don't need to spend $200. Splat Bomb, Ink Strike. Oh. So Splat Bomb... So you were talking about Splat Bomb Tri-Strike being the Wasabi kit, basically. I mean, Splat Bomb is nice. I like. My dream kit is still exactly what the Tentatek Splatter Shot was in Splatoon 2. That kit was so fun. It was just hold forward, get picks. The bomb was sick for it. Ugh, I loved that weapon. When should a new player try ranked? If they're only used to Turf War. Whenever you want to try ranked. Everyone's gonna suck at it at first. Might as well get the sucking over with. Like... A lot of people get this misconception, like... At what point am I good enough to play in tournaments? At what point am I good enough to play in ranked? You got it backwards. At what point have I played enough ranked to get good? Is a better question. My, disagreement with the term good notwithstanding. Like, you get better by playing. So if you want to play it, start playing it now, and then you'll start to get better at it. Now, if you're still really getting used to the basic mechanics of the game, Turf War is a pretty good place to learn those. Like, if you're still not sure, like, how to aim your weapon, you're really not reliable at all at hitting shots ever. If you, like, don't throw your bombs ever, if you forget to use your special in every single game for the entire game and never have any uses on it, like, it might be good to get used to the game in a very simple objective like Turf War before you have to start thinking, okay, I need to use these tools of mine in order to accomplish this. At high level, Turf War plays very similarly to the ranked modes. You're still trying to control space on the map. It's more different than any of the other ones are, but concepts like map control still matter. But, just, like, while you're learning the mechanics of Clam Blitz, you don't want to also have to be worried about, wait, how do I throw bombs again? Everyone keeps telling me I need to switch to motion controls. I'm just a casual guy, but I had 1900 in Splatoon 2. Yeah, I mean, there are two good reasons not to use motion controls. One is that you have a physical disability, or like you get motion sickness or tremors or something that prevents you from using it. Totally valid. The other reason is you just don't care that much about, winning the game. Because it is an objective advantage. It is straight up better. Like, there is no rational argument that sticks that are gated as slow as this are better for aiming than being able to snap this quickly at that level of precision. Now, if you're only playing the game for like 3 weeks, then yeah, motion controls are not going to be great for you because you're going to take that long to get used to them. Maybe even more if you're used to the sticks instead. But if you are a competitive player and you have the ability to use the motion controls, it, I think, would be foolish not to at least consider it. If you really do care about winning, it is going to give you an advantage. So you're kind of contradicting yourself if you are saying, like, oh yeah, I'm a competitive player, but I don't play motion controls, provided that you don't have, you know, other reasons for not wanting to use the motion controls. Or not being able to. Because a competitive player, by definition, is someone who is playing primarily to try to win the game. Well, if there's something that gives you a clear competitive advantage, and you're not using that clear competitive advantage, are you really that competitive then? And, of course, there are, you know, some counter-arguments to that. Like, there's some people who play off-meta weapons. Are they anti-competitive? Well, maybe they're trying to push it. Maybe they think it has a niche that will help them win and gives them a matchup that can help them out, you know, trick an opponent or something. But there are no tricks to using stick controls. It's not like it increases your capabilities or gives you different capabilities. It gives you the same capabilities but worse. I guess maybe your aim's a little bit steadier, but that's something that a motion controls player can easily learn to correct for. I also think they're really fun and, like, really cool. Like, I can just do this with my hands and be like, oh, you're dead. Haha. That's fun. I like that. The meta is just whatever everyone's using. That is... FLC is making a point when he says that. I think most people will define meta slightly differently than that would suggest. But the metagame is the set of strategies that are most popular in competitive play at that moment. Now, strategies that are popular in competitive play are strategies that are very likely to work better than other strategies that you could try. Like, you cannot go too far wrong by playing the meta, ever. But it doesn't account for every strategy that works, because for strategies to be popular, people have to be trying to play them. So, meta is not so much like a tier list sort of idea where it's the weapon in isolation, how good is it? I don't know. That's usually what it tends to be. Because I'm taking fighting game ideas and applying them to tier lists here, and I really shouldn't. So that was, ignore what I just said about tier lists and the metagame being different. I don't really agree with that. But so the metagame is like what competitive players are doing that is working for them. Well, obviously that, you know, there are some weapons that, you know, if they counter the meta strategy, are going to be more viable in that case than they would be otherwise. His point, though, was that a lot of people are going to just do what higher-level players tell them is good to play. And those options are usually going to be inoffensive, but are not always necessarily going to be the very best options for that exact opportunity. The splatter shot is not the best answer for every single map mode, but the reason that I play it is that it is a good answer for every map mode, and a very good answer for a lot of map modes. And while there is a better answer, I'm sure, on some map modes that I do play the splatter shot on, because I can get away with just playing the splatter shot, I'm going to be better at playing the splatter shot than I am at picking that one niche option. So that's also something that factors into the metagame. Weapons that are reliable are going to do really well there, and will be consistently good across multiple different map modes. Those are also going to be good there. But FLC is also correct that there are a lot of things that work that people don't do competitively, that are not considered meta. Thank you for the membership, by the way, Elijah. Appreciate it. Okay. What time we got? We'll do a match, and then I'll probably call it there. Clam Blitz, Eel Tail, and Ink Blot. Neat. Let's woomy together. Did you ever watch Twitch chat? I've been watching it this whole time. Just not while I'm like answering a question, because the questions that you guys ask are like a paragraph long sometimes. It's all I can do to read it before it goes up, let alone answer it to any degree of usefulness. I'm not going to answer a question if I'm not going to do the question justice. Sometimes that means that I need to be a little bit more thorough than I could be if I were trying to keep all the way up with chat. If you have a PC capable of gaming, you can find a way to connect your PC Pro controller to PC. Oh, yeah, that is a thing that you can do. It's, in my experience, difficult to get the sensitivities to line up, the sensitivity settings, but that is a thing you can do. Favorite weapon? It's Splatter Shot. The one that I am playing. Blasters are sick, but I can't find a way to fit them in competitively, which is kind of frustrating. I would love to be able to play that more. I'd love to dual main. I just don't think it's happening in the current game state. All right, let's see what's going on here. Someone up top. I was hoping my teammate was going to take cover or something, or like take an off angle. Because yeah, that's just going to happen there. Yeah, I can hopefully get a bomb in the way. Okay, that's not bad. This is fine, as long as they don't get too much. Where? Oh, there you are. Oh my god, am I gonna splat this entire team? Where? Where's the charger? Okay, there's the charger. Got him. Oh god, that was really bad. It's unfortunate that Candy Racer didn't have charge ready. If they did, we win that fight easily, but I also probably could have hit it. Well, I don't know. I would have needed to splat them myself before Candy Racer was firing shots. There we go. So that's a score. Now we need to get more clams. We've got someone running back for them. Cool. So the rest of us can focus on holding the basket. Oh, I was so close to hitting all those. Shoot. Man. I had them pushed back about as far as I possibly could there. We just didn't have a lot of clams to put in. Oh man, Candy Racer, please. That is not a safe place to be standing. Too many enemy sight lines on you. And we're letting them in on the right. Okay. Okay. You are stuck. Well, you're not completely stuck because you're dually squelchers, but you're still stuck enough. Oh, God. Oh, I was hoping that at least would hit them. Do we have a clam or anything to score with? Why are we at the basket already? What's going on? I don't trust jumping to this. They've got massive numbers advantage right now. They could just take the basket. Why are they still over there? They're gonna get at least one of these in, probably both. Yep. I'm not following what the game plan is right here for how we're pushing. It feels like we're just kind of going into enemy ink and dying without any expectation of scoring. Alright. They traded that back. They're probably going to die here. Although, getting the power clam in would have actually gotten us pretty close. We're not out of this yet, and we do still have a pity clam. Oh, man. Oh, it's okay. It's going to be 2 power clams plus 1 that we need to be able to take lead. Shooting it at 52 before they've got their wall up is a very good strategy when you can pull it off. You're in the right positioning for it. Yeah, okay, they're just going to ink back it. And then they're going to fire a shot probably at mid, probably not down here. Yep. Oh, there's someone back there. Maybe we can not do that here. Yeah, alright. Okay, teammate traded for that. That's more than I was expecting, to be honest, from the position they were in. So good stuff to them. They know that I'm here, and nobody's moved up to help. Oh, because there's someone at the basket is why. Shoot. I should have backed up more. Alright, well, we've got 2 down. It's now or never. Alright, Junior's gonna pick it up. Cool. I'm down with that. Cool. Throw it into enemy ink. That's a strategy. Well, they got it in. I don't know what throwing it there helped with. Maybe they needed the stealth for something? I can't get there in time. Too many people in the way. Yeah. I want to do another one. That one didn't feel good. Stream is, yeah, streams are always delayed. There's this thing called the speed of light. Can't transmit information instantly. Play Salmon Run often? Not super often at all, no. It's really popular right now. I just get a lot more out of the PvP personally. It kind of makes me sad sometimes that, like, there aren't more streamers just, like, playing Anarchy open with viewers. Like, I almost never see streams where people are doing that. If I were to try and do that, I would have, like, 200 people who want to, and it would feel bad because I'd just be like, all right, there's your 2 games that you get with me. Now you get to wait in line for another 3 hours. Like, that wouldn't be fun for me as a viewer to have to wade through. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. I don't know. And maybe the people feel differently, but it's also a huge headache with friend codes because you're going to cycle through probably like 100 players or something in a given session of that, and as such, you're often going to have to like delete players from the friends list and add new ones, and that takes forever. It's not very fast. Join the Discord. It's the swearing policy. Keep it PG-13, you know. An F-bomb here and there didn't hurt anybody, but don't overdo it, please. And don't be gross. That's more important, I think. Note that there are minors in that server. I thought there was someone else that was looking at that. And I guess they backed all the way back up over here. I think there's... Is there someone over there? No, there's just splashing it. I've just been splashing it. Where is this 10 players team? Oh, hello! That didn't hit? Are you kidding me? Oh, wait, maybe they had shield up. That would make sense. Are you just gonna make a run for it? Because you got a power clam and I can see that you're doing that, so no. I knew that my teammate would probably go for the power clam. That's what you would kind of expect people to focus in that situation. So I figured I'd try to protect them instead. Alright, careful going into that. That's probably like 2 clams and a death. Yeah, 3 clams and a death. That's better than I thought. What if I were to go exactly the same angle? Oh, I thought I had time. I literally throw that in and score it if I have the basket open for long enough, but I wasn't paying enough attention to that. We should be not letting them paint that area. That is important for us to not let them have painted. I think I just filled their vac and then splatted them with a second shot. Over here, guys. Somebody got it past you on the wall. Oh, dear. This is jumping to. Okay, we got that splat. This player doesn't know I'm here until now when I miss every shot, and that's how they know that I'm here. Well, we got the defense done eventually. Gotta get rid of that beacon on the left. Hopefully Tony Baloney's on it. Yes. Nope. Okay, you can fire your Zuka, that's fine. I'll have mine in a second too. Crap, they've got another one. I didn't think it recharged that fast. Hello. So that's the tent there with the clam. No, it's not. Nice. See if this hits anything. Probably won't. Definitely won't. No shot it hits anything. But, huh? No, not quite. Oh, what was that? Suction bomb? Okay. Thought that landed too far away to hit me. I was already damaged, so it only needed to do indirect damage to kill me. Nope. Oh, well. I guess that works. This is really scary. They only need to score 4 clams. But they don't have anybody alive to do that. Alright. That felt a little better. VOD review still backed up. Thought I remember you saying something like that. I mean, they're only going to get more backed up. The channel is still growing. At this point, the next Tuesday VOD review that gets reserved will be for 2023. Shoot. Once I get my capture card, I might try out Open with Viewers, and also might try buying a Metafy lesson for you. Not exactly sure what happens during those lessons. Could you explain, please? If you watch the Tuesday streams that I do, it's very much similar to that, where we'll sit down and we'll talk a little bit more about like your goals, what weapons you play, what it is you're working towards, like if you have a competitive team you're working towards, if you're trying to just get better in solo, and you know the state of the game for your weapon and things like that. But then we'll watch a recording of you playing the game, and I'll go over every major decision point during that game. So it's usually one game takes something like 35 minutes to an hour or something like that most of the time. And I'll give you a list of things to work on in future, things that you can like focus on as you're playing, because something that an old band director taught me that has stuck with me is that it's important to always be asking a question when you're practicing. Like, ask a question and be looking for the answer in the game or the whatever it is you're practicing. So we'll give you those like bullet point ideas, like these are the things that I want you focusing on while you practice to improve them as quickly as possible, because those are the things that you will get the most mileage out of the fastest. So that's kind of how we do it. Recently discovered your channel after Splatoon 3 and have been really interested. I'm curious as to what weapon you would say you main. Splattershot. I want to dual main Splattershot and Blaster because I think Blaster is sick, but Blaster is really hard to work into team comps right now, and so I've been forced more and more often to just play Splattershot so that we have the paint on the team comp. But as soon as I'm on a team that's willing to let me play Blaster, hoo-wee, I am pewing some pews on that thing. What are ways to improve aim? Should I, turning gyro off to keep aim from swaying? Absolutely not. Motion controls are the way to play this game. They are faster, they are more precise. They are, like, you can, all of those things that I just did on screen, just mindlessly, without even thinking about it, you cannot do that fast on stick controls. It is physically impossible. Motion controls, like, there are two good reasons not to use them. One is that you have a physical disability or something that prevents you from using them. So, like, some people get tremors, some people get motion sickness, some people, like, have part of their hand amputated or something and are not able to hold the controller in an effective way that lets them do that. Totally valid. The other reason is that you are not as competitive. You're not interested in playing specifically to win. But outside of those two reasons, you know, like, so for example, someone who wants to be able to play while they're lying in bed, it's a lot easier to just use the stick controls that way, and I totally get that, and that's totally valid. But that kind of a player is also not concerned with whether they win as many matches of Splatoon as they possibly can. So now, I will also say, it will take about 2 or 3 weeks to get used to motion controls. Like, you will be worse for maybe, like, the first month that you're using them. But in the long term, they will be immensely better. You will definitely start pulling ahead of the people who don't make the switch. But in terms of getting used to motion controls, I have a whole video on that on YouTube that I would recommend checking out for anybody who wants more information on that. Someone just asked a question that skipped over the top of the screen. Opinion on the fact that now or never plays in ranked modes. It can't, because you don't know when the game is going to end. That song only works if you know exactly the second that the game is going to end. And if you knock out, then it's just like, oh, wait, we were expecting it to end there, and it didn't. I do have a weapon tier list also on YouTube, if anyone is interested in my opinions on which weapons are good for, like, competitive play. A reminder that the tier lists are assuming top-level play, so I'm assuming that the people using these weapons are better at the game than me. So, obviously, if you haven't hit the skill floor for the harder weapons, those are things that you have to consider. Because, like, something like E-Leader is not easy to play well. Like, you're not going to just hand a brand new player an E-Leader and have them be tearing it up, even though it's one of the best weapons in the game right now. But that's what that's measuring. Are there any weapons you would recommend trying to someone who has always played the shooters but wants to branch out? Dualies are pretty close. If you want something more backline, Splatlings fire in a very similar way. If you like midline shooters, maybe like the V-Slosher or the Machine. Those carry over pretty well, with positioning and everything. What's your opinion of Slosher for semi? I think vanilla Slosher is an insanely good weapon that is not seeing play purely because the sloshing machine is just the tiniest bit more reliable right now. I think V-Slosher, if pushed, is like potentially a top 5 weapon in the game. And it's just not seeing that play right now because, again, sloshing machine, just slightly better. Why would you use the V-Slosher over the sloshing machine when they do such similar things? And one has a bigger hitbox. The most complex shooter to play. Maybe Splash. Just because it's able to flex so fluidly between the support and Slayer playstyle. So there are so many things you can do with it, but it's kind of information, like opportunity overload. I don't know. Aerospray Junior and Junior, it definitely has some nuance to it for sure. But like Aerospray Junior and Jet Squelcher are basically sport weapons. You do have to know how to keep your range with the Splattershot Pro, so that's a challenge, I suppose. Splattershot is just a straight-up Slayer weapon, which isn't the easiest thing at all to play. Slayers, they need to get in position to be able to get picks with a weapon that doesn't have a lot of range, which is a dangerous and difficult thing to try and do. But, maybe Splash. About to play your rank up battle? Good luck. Let's go. Do you think Pro might be a good option if it got K-Pro kit? It would be a better option by a lot. Would it be enough to supplant, like, Machine? I have trouble believing that it would. It'd be like, because even I could just pick Machine right now and do pretty well in ranked. Like, it's a relatively easy weapon to pick up and play. It's not like I even need, like, the unique mechanics of being a slosher main to be able to have success on that weapon. So I don't even know. I think it might just be outclassed for the current game state. They either need to buff that weapon's range or its fire rate, I think, for it to really be seeing more use competitively. It's too ink hungry for as not its fire rate even. Maybe it's like ink consumption. It's time to kill or something. Like, I think the main weapon is just on the weak side. Advice on playing Dynamo Roller. Oh man, I feel so bad for the Dynamos because their kit right now is not it. You really don't want Tacticooler on a Dynamo, and that's the only kit you have available. So, but Dynamo, it's a weapon that walls out frontliners, is the best way that I can describe it. Like, your job is to make it so that a frontliner has to go, oh wait, there's a Dynamo there. How do I, oh crap, there's just an enormous hitbox in the way. What do I do? Okay, they swung there, and now I go in, and I can get, oh shoot, they got another swing out before I could get in range of them. And that's kind of how that weapon works. You're very slow and very patient. And your goal as a Dynamo is to get to the point where you literally never miss. Your hitbox is so huge, like, the only time that you miss should be when the hitboxes go wonky, which they do sometimes. There are sometimes just randomly holes in them, and there's not a lot you can do about it sometimes. But a Dynamo that never misses needs to be played around a very specific way by a short-range shooter or something. And that can really slow them down. Why is Tacticooler bad? I've had some... So, Tacticooler's problem is that it reveals you in exchange only for some movement speed. Everything else about the Tacticooler only triggers when you die. And if you're pushing, you don't want to be dying. It's removing you from play. So, yeah, like, you die and are punished less for it, but you really need a comp that is built around being willing to engage fast and feed, potentially, to be able to get stuff done. Slow weapons just cannot effectively use Tacticooler. It is not worth it for them to be revealing their location the way that it does, just for like a little bit of movement speed and the ability to feed, because they don't want to feed. They want to use their range or something. So that's why I say I think 90% of comps are, you know, the Tacticooler is a liability on them. Now, there are some comps where it works, and it's seeing use especially in Rainmaker right now. Because in Rainmaker, the movement speed buff matters a lot. What you'll do is you'll pop the Tacticooler after you win a fight, and use the movement speed to move the Rainmaker more quickly, and make it so that if you do get engaged on as you're moving the Rainmaker, you get back into that fight and are able to pop the shield still. Been watching my replays, but can never understand where faults would come from. Even if I can point out my mistakes, I have no idea if my backline's not performing since I don't know the role. So you're talking about, you play backline? So like one thing is like watching your deaths specifically and thinking, why did that happen? What information did I miss that prevented me from knowing that this could happen to me if I didn't run away? That sort of question. Another one is just quiz yourself on the game state. So like close your eyes at random and pause it and be like, wait, right now, how many players are up on each team? Okay, it's a 3v4. Where are my teammates? I think there's one to my right and one a little bit behind me watching me. And then if you open your eyes and see, oh, that teammate on my right is already dead, and the one behind me is actually respawning, so I'm completely alone, that's something that can help you with developing that sort of awareness and things like that. Is there such a thing as an all-rounder role? Every weapon plays every role some of the time. Roles are not some static thing like they are in Overwatch, where there is a DPS and a support and a tank. And the game designates those things. That does not exist in Splatoon. Every weapon can do every role. Every weapon can slay. Every weapon can skirmish. Every weapon can support, and every weapon can anchor. And every weapon should do every one of those things some of the time. It is a matter of what your team needs you to be doing at that moment, and it is a matter of playing to your strengths so that you can do the things that your weapon is best at as much as possible. But even then, you're only going to be doing that thing that your weapon is really good at, maybe like 70% of the time, if the team comp is working well. And sometimes you're going to have to play outside of what your weapon ideally wants to do. So, all-rounder role, every weapon is kind of an all-rounder. Every weapon can paint, every weapon can, like, there's some weapons that are, like, more versatile. A squeezer can do a little bit of everything, and that's one of the strengths of that weapon. But, like, again, every weapon, when put in a position to do one of those things that is useful, should be doing those things that are useful. Are there any top players that don't use motion controls? Tip-top level, I don't know of any. I know that there are some players who can get into X rank with it, and there are some players who do play competitively on sticks. I think the furthest I ever heard of someone who had been playing sticks, they got to, like, Div 5 or something like that. I don't know. There are probably more notable examples than that. That's just as far as I'm aware. Should Tetris play the objective, or should they only focus on splats? They're playing the objective by splatting. Like, getting on tower or, like, picking up Rainmaker, most often not. But there are always exceptions to that rule. Like, let's say there are 3 Tetra Dualies on your team. Well, one of you has got to pick up the Rainmaker, and while none of you are, like, particularly suited to wanting to do that, you're kind of redundant at that point. And so you might as well be the one who picks up the Rainmaker every time. So, like, again, the only real role is whatever your team needs you to be doing at that moment. Do not pigeonhole yourself. Like, if people take away from the roles video that I made that a weapon plays one role and only one role, and that is the only thing it should ever focus on doing, then I have done them a disservice by making that video. One of the major points of that video is that you should rotate between the different things that are useful to do, depending on what your team needs you to do. Now, what are the Tetras good at doing? Feeding, pushing the team back, you know, slaying or skirmishing, getting out in front of the objective to clear space for it. But again, it's to clear space for the objective. Your job is not just get kills. Your job is make space on the map for the objective to push. That happens to involve, a lot of the time, forcing players out of the way. And if they're positioning intelligently, a lot of the time that means you're going to have to splat them before they will be out of your way. But, like, again, it's all in service of the objective. It's all in service of what your team needs. Splats by themselves do not win games. It's splats that remove people from positions you need them removed from. And if that position, if you splatted someone and they're not in a position you needed them removed from, then the only advantage you're getting from that is the ability to maybe collapse on the rest of the enemy team with numbers advantage because you've taken a player out and they're now a player down and they're not going to be able to defend. But if that player was so far out of position that they weren't going to be able to help the rest of their team anyway in that fight, they are literally irrelevant, and killing them is not worth what else you could be doing. Back when I played competitively, there weren't named roles like this. You just talked to your team about what you were doing on your... So, the named roles thing largely comes from FLC's essay, Fluid Roles and Priorities, or Fluid Priorities and Roles, or whatever it's called, which gives you an idea of, like, what are useful things to do in Splatoon, and what are the kinds of weapons that tend to be really good at doing that thing. And that's what that essay is designed to do. And I'm very much paraphrasing most of it. There are some parts that FLC would disagree with that I say, but a lot of it is just, like, I'm cribbing from that. So that's where those roles come from, and those are a staple of competitive play, and have been since FLC wrote that. But, again, if you over-focus on them, you limit your idea of what you are supposed to be doing, and you build bad habits. So, it's like, they're there so that you know what should be happening in general, and which weapons are going to be good at doing that in general, and which weapons should position to try and do those things. But please, please, please do not just lock yourself into the idea that every weapon does one thing. If you main multiple weapons, is it a better idea to main... Ooh. Is it a better idea to main 2 or 3 weapons with different roles, or all the same role? I think that when you main different weapons, it's important that there be something similar between them, because otherwise you're needing to learn more different things to be caught up and be at the same level. Like, the positioning that I take with a splatter shot versus with a blaster is relatively similar, even though the mechanics of the weapons are different. So, a lot of what I know of how to play splatter shot carries over to blaster. The range is pretty similar, and so the positions I want to take are pretty similar. There are a few new ones because of the way that the blaster hits around stuff. It's one of the more different weapons that I play. But if you're going to play different weapons, you don't want to play very many different weapons, because you're going to be splitting too much time and developing too many different skill sets between the two, and you're never going to be as much of an expert on either one of them as you could be. Tips for staying alive with Not. I feel like I die with it more than other weapons. Only peek when you have charge, and play further back if they're starting to rush you and you don't have charge. But every time you peek someone, you should just be splatting them. That's kind of your thought process. If they are in my sight line, I am either splatting them or I have messed up. Otherwise, you know, you want to be hugging behind cover right here, getting charge. And then you pop out and swim it around, and then you delete someone. But then you're out of there again. Especially with this kit, Nautilus should be more aggressive than it is, but right now it's kind of like a pseudo-anchor. It kind of wants to hang back, throw point sensors, get information, and have rain out before it tries to go in on anything. I used Jet Squelcher, which had Ink Wall, Ink Strike, and S1. What weapon kit would be closest in S2? Or S3? The Trizuka is actually... sorry, the Squeezer is actually pretty close. It's fairly long-range shooter, has Wall, has Trizuka, which hits from long range. It's not a displacement special the way that Ink Strike is. But long-range shooter plus Wall plus decently long-range special is a pretty good combination there, I think. I would not recommend using the Jet Squelcher in its current state. Its kit is really bad for it. It's not a bad weapon necessarily, it just does not have the tools that it needs to use the weapon that it has. Do you have any advice on what frontline players typically want their backlines to do? The frontline players cannot see you. You need to play off of what they're doing, because they cannot possibly play off what you are doing by very much. The most they can do is know that you are behind them as they go in. But, like, if this is a frontliner and I'm a backliner, I'm going to be looking in this direction and I'm going to see them. But they are not going to see me. So look for what your team is doing for you and work to support that. So, like, let's say this is my teammate and they're fighting this guy. Or, like, let's say this is my teammate and they're very likely to have to push in this direction, and it turns out there is a guy here. If I'm set up in a position right here to get an angle on that guy, now that guy can't get behind cover or anything. If I'm set up too far behind that teammate, I'm not having any impact on this fight whatsoever, and I am useless to my frontliner. If I'm right here, this is better because I can still at least hit that guy, but I am not covering a different angle from my frontliner. So you want to, like, think proactively, what positions are good on the map for me to take in general, and which of those positions that are good to take will I be able to help my frontliner from? And those are the ones that you want to be looking for. Having trouble getting Squid Roll to work for me. Do you have any tips? It's situational. I usually use it the most when I'm just trying to get off a wall. Like if I'm sharking on this wall, trying to look over or something, and I realize, oh wait, they're pushing me. I gotta get out of here. I'll do something like that and just swim away. In combat, I basically never use it anymore. I was trying to, you know, make it work on Blaster, and I think it's better for Blaster than it is for Splattershot, but like, I'd rather just maintain stealth before I start shooting. I'd rather just Ninja Squid right up behind someone and be like, pew pew, and not have them ever know what hit them. Like, if someone's firing at me before I'm firing at them, I've done my job wrong. So, I tend not to use it that much. There are also some nice little, like, movement things you can do with it. So, like, you can do this sort of thing to get up ledges, which in some cases is a faster or smoother way to do it. Like, me getting from here up to here is slower doing it that way than it is doing this. Like, because if I'm swimming from here, my momentum is in this direction. And I can't just substrafe over there, because then I hit this wall and swim up it. But if I squid roll, now I'm keeping a good amount of momentum and moving in the direction that I want to move, and I'm able to clear that ledge. So there are definitely use cases for it. Little movement optimizations you can do with it. It's used in the speedrun all sorts of places, so like anywhere you see it used in a speedrun, you can bet that they've labbed it out and that's the optimal movement for that sort of level geometry, and that actually can be a useful way to learn about it. But it's not giving you too much. A lot of the time, like, if there's a lethal bomb at your feet, you just swim away from it instead of trying to squid roll it. Because why leave yourself at 20 HP when you could leave yourself at 100 HP? Should I be playing more passively or try to carry my team for solo queue, frontline, and slayer? You need to play off what your team is doing. Like, the thing about a slayer weapon specifically is that it's not good at starting fights, it's good at finishing fights. Like a splatter shot, I don't have any tools. If there is a machine standing, like, out there, I don't have any tools as a splatter shot to engage that opponent before they splat me. Their kill time is, like, 3 times longer than mine, but that range advantage is too much for me to overcome if they know that I'm coming at them and I'm trying to do this sort of thing. Now, if I have something like a Dualies, that I can actually kind of use to sort of move my way in. But with the Dualies, I can also, like, kite someone, I can use my range. There are a lot of different ways that I can play this, so it's a little bit less of a hard slayer. But, like, splatter shot, you really need to just, like, as soon as you are shooting, you need to be splatting someone. Otherwise, you're giving your position away too early. And so you rely as a slayer on your teammates to get the opponents looking in a different direction so that you can hit them from a different direction. And you don't want to be flanking. You don't want to be hard flanking a lot of the time because that takes too long. But if you have a teammate that's over there, just like standing right here by this box, maybe just take an angle from over here. Because that opponent right there is going to have to look that way to shoot them. And then you hit them from here, and that's easy. You want to be, like, using your teammates to make the fights really easy for you to win, and you want to win them before your teammates get into trouble in those fights. Strictly play off your team. I mean, if you can make something happen, if, like, you happen to shark right here and someone just wanders around the corner, just, you know, take them out. But, and sometimes, you know, you can make things happen yourself with Trizuka plays. You remove someone from play, and you have an advantage as a team. Yeah, now you just run them down. Now you just go straight for them and go hard aggro when you can, because you've got numbers advantage. Your teammates should be running forward with you, and even if you go down, they'll trade back and still end up at numbers advantage. So when you manage to get a pick like that, that can really accelerate things and let you play more aggressively. But especially in the neutral game, like, don't give yourself away until you know you are going to zero someone out with those shots. Unless you're trying to paint for Zuka to create that advantage for yourself, which is also an option you have. Favorite victory pose? I think the chill out one is really obnoxious, and for that I love it. There's another one. Let me see. What is this thing? That one's pretty funny. No. Yeah, this one is probably my next favorite. I think this one's just, like, so goofy. It's great. Yeah, chill out is not okay. Chill out is unsportsmanlike. It's the most toxic thing that I've ever done in this video game, is pick chill out. Second position of the 100x 338. Yeah, that one's also really funny. Clam Blitz or Rainmaker? Clam Blitz. Although Rainmaker is a lot better in this game mode. Oh yeah, there is one for getting a certain distance in Table Turf. I just haven't played it enough, I guess. Even more toxic than Dab. I mean, the Dab is just a meme. Level 30 of the card game? Got it. I'm at like rank 19 or something. Do you have a favorite outfit for fashion, not abilities? There are not very many shoes that look good in this game. Kind of like these shoes. The Tims, I mean, they're useful in some situations. The situational, one might say. These are actually pretty good shoes. I kind of like these. Any of the punks, punk whites, punk pinks, or whatever. These are not quite my style, but they look decent. These are hilarious. I love these shoes because they're so hideous. Like, pink soles, this like very neutral gray and brown thing, combined with the brightest fluffy pink, fluffy like green and yellow socks. It's so disgusting. I love them. But yeah, the Chucks are solid. These, depending on what I wear them with, could look good. If I had any outfit that made any sense with these shoes, these would be neat. But shirts, I actually really like the default shirt. I think it's a very cool thing to give as the default gear. Like, it's way cooler than the basic looking t-shirt that you used to have. I'd wear that. I actually have a sweater that looks a lot like this. Man, a lot of these are just either really basic or really weird. Like, these jackets make you look like you're wearing a fat suit. They are, like, really poofy. This is cool. It's probably not my style, but it's cool. These are hilarious, but also not good looking. So I will wear them. Oh, I would totally wear this shirt. This is a shirt that I would just own. This is a little out there, but, I mean, it could work. Why do these always look so weird? Look at how poofy this makes you. Why is it so poofy? This is so silly. Like, am I planning on jumping out of an airplane and being able to survive just because of the sheer poofiness of this jacket? Oh, it's an oversized t-shirt. That's interesting. Nothing really stands out there. These are a little much. This is funny. I do like these goggles. They're probably not my favorite, but I like them. I might honestly like the glasses the most of the headwear. What else is there? This has always been my staple, my go-to. And I wear it for the culture. These are funny, and so I wear them. Yeah, the glasses are generally not bad. I used to wear a lot of the Forge mask. I'm not enough of an e-boy to wear that. What in the world is this? That is so absurd. Maybe if I were joining a barbershop quartet. Absolutely not. Howdy hat. I like that it's called the Howdy hat. The name is better than the gear, but... And, I mean, the squid hair clip is inoffensive. This doesn't look bad either, depending on what you wear it with, but not really my look either. There, that's my fashion tier list. Man, it is getting up on 3 a.m., isn't it? Let me double check my calendar and make sure I don't have anything I need to wake up for tomorrow. I should be okay. I'll play a little bit more. Hey, thank you for the membership, Mini McChill. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's true. We're getting the Europeans now. They're waking up and it's... They're not waking up. Yeah, they're waking up and it's Thursday. Is Thursday a big day for watching streams? I don't know. Probably not. I seem to have some pretty big ones on Thursdays, though. Stealth jump really that important to have, or is not jumping just as good an option? Not jumping is an option if you're an E-leader, because you don't want to jump that close to the enemy team. But jumping saves you like half a respawn time or more on some of these maps. Like the amount of time that it saves you, that you are having an impact on the game for, is very, very important. Like, the entire reason that being splatted is bad is that it removes you from play. And if you don't super jump in, you're removing yourself from play for longer. You're punishing yourself harder for getting splatted, is a way to think about it. So, not feeling comfy jumping ever is a problem. And it's a problem that stealth jump solves. Yeah, the time to not jump is if jumping is going to result in death. That is pretty much the only time to not jump. Unless, you know, you have to, like, defend something and your teammate isn't there to defend it. Otherwise, you jump. Jumping is very important and valuable and something you should always be looking to be able to do. You just need to do it safely so you don't take yourself out of play for longer by being splatted. How should a V-Blaster play during neutral? Get into a position where your weapon uniquely can hit other weapons that, like, outside of line of sight, like hit them up over ledges and stuff. Or just, like, shark somewhere, wait for them to come around a corner and try to hit directs. That's also a thing. Flings a roller. Flings a roller is the best roller by a lot. Unfortunately, that's mostly because it gets missiles. But there are all sorts of top teams that are running Flingzas. Japanese teams, North American teams. You cannot go too far wrong with that if you know what you're doing with it. Well, I got him eventually. That's a range blaster over there. We gotta be careful about the range that they control. Let's see if we can get a Zuka pick here. If that range blaster would move just a little bit further. Okay, well, we've got them anyway. This feels a little unnecessary at this point. Well, no, because we still don't have control exactly. They're just running out. What are they doing? Are they giving up or something? What is this machine doing? They're running around in in their own base while the rest of the teammates are playing it. Okay, this should be behind a wall, which should mean it's safe. Yes. Drop down, range blaster. You know you want to. Okay, fine. Directly above me. Okay. Wow, okay. Unfortunate for them that they missed that, because that was a good play by them. Why am I trying to kill this person? They're so far out of the way. They're not going to get the clam anyway. One more. Just run that one clam in. Dude, you have all of our clams. That was the most overkill thing I've ever seen. They needed one individual clam, and it is so disadvantageous for them to make the power clam to do that with. Because it reveals them. It has a shorter throw range, but no, they just wanted to style on him, I guess. Oh, goodness. I didn't even do that much. It felt more like... I want to look at the machine's stats and see if they were playing, because it seems like, from what I saw there, they were not playing the video game. 03 with 5P painted, dude. They were straight up throwing on purpose. That sucks. I hope that player disconnects from their next match. Is setting up a power clam. Clam closer to the enemy goal, generally good strategy. Yeah, you want to not reveal yourself with the power clam if you can help it. Like, the optimal thing to do is to get everyone to have 7 clams, so that as soon as anyone gets to the basket, you can immediately make a power clam by just throwing one clam from a player to another. But until that point, you are not revealed, and any of the players... The other players who have picked up clams can throw those clams in once the basket is open from further away, where it's safer. And it also helps them stall the basket for longer, because with 7 individual clams, you can stall the basket for 21 seconds. A power clam only stalls it for 10 seconds. Said you'd call it over a half an hour ago? I mean... Isn't that how it always goes? One more game. 7 games later. One more game. I'll just finish this series. Oh, hey, it's Martha. Unfortunately on the other team. She's a solid player. A streamer as well. I believe it's like Half-Blood Martha. I follow them on my Twitter. I get a kick out of calling it Twitter. Like, it is a thing that tweets for me. That's my Twitter. Hi. I do not appreciate your Zuka-ing. Please cease. Man, that's unfortunate. Now we jump out of this. We die. Ugh. That is the worst. Seeing the player who's about to get the power clam and then a roller shows up right behind the... That's some jump scare stuff right there. You have to be careful about this Squiffer from there, because they can actually, you know, just jump shot over the top of that. Alright, that's 2 down. We're fine with that. Oh, maybe we're not as fine with that as I thought. Where is this Squiffer? I don't understand. Okay, I'm throwing this way. Teammates dead. If he pushes me, I right side peek this. Oh, no, I don't right side peek this because I'm about to get sniped. Well, now I'm seen. So let's play sniper for a second. I'm trying to play that angle for a really long time, and it feels like nobody else is moving over there with me. So maybe I should try to play the left a little bit more. Okay. Dog has got a clam. Oh, I thought that would splat them. It looked like they were in front of it. Okay, fine. No. And we got... Oh no, is the squeezy there? Oh, wait, we need to defend from this. There's a lot coming in over that side there. Don't just dive in on the tent. There we go. Oh, hi. Please go away. Ah, crap. That is an unfortunate place for us to have an enemy big bubbler. Oh no, picking that up was not the call. Made him visible. They know what angle I'm trying to look for here. Swiffer. We're firing at the tent shield because that forces them to be behind it, and that lets my teammate potentially do something with being behind it. I don't like that this is all painted, because this lets the roller come up from behind us and just flank us or something. And I can get this squeezer? No, no I can't. Now I have to run. Now I might die. Okay, I'm good. It's not helping because I don't have another one. Nah, I don't think that leads to anything. That only gives them a pity clam. We need to make a power clam in the next 15 seconds or we lose the game. So that's the first priority. I am not finding any clams. This is bad. Are there enough up there? There are enough up there. Oh my god. Thank goodness. Wait, is this just an opportunity? Oh. Maybe it's not an opportunity. It is not an opportunity. Wait, did we win? We just won. Oh my god. That did not feel earned. I mean, I guess we defended well. That's what that means. We didn't let them get a really good scoring push going, and so it was really easy for us to take lead as soon as we needed to. Yes, there is a cat. Hi there, cat. He's going meow. So overtime in this feel much more common than in Splatoon 2. Kind of, I guess. It's harder to score in some of these maps. Like in Mincemeat Clams is literally a map where I would not be surprised at a competitive level to see a 100 to 100 game with an overtime that ends randomly. Like, just deciding the players... Like, just giving it over to Alpha Team or whatever it does. Like... Or no, it goes to whoever made the most power clams. And then if that's tied, I think it goes to Alpha Team. I think that's how it works. Like, I could totally see that happening, because you should just never be able to score there. There's 2 massive choke points that you have to get through, one of which is a great bridge, and one of which is having to jump across a block that you have to climb up first. Both of those entryways suck. They're awful. So easily defended by, like, one weapon. Can we see Cat? Cat does not like being picked up too much. I've picked... Here, I can show you Cat. Just in a slightly different way. Here is Cat. And here is better picture of Cat. This is Cat. That's some pretty good photography right there. That's how you know I didn't take the picture. They've got a tri-stringer as their longest range. Well, tri-stringer plus wall. I don't know which one's actually longer range, really, but tri-stringer is going to be playing more of the anchor role. He's stuck. Oh my god, I missed every shot, but I still got him. Nice. Oh, beautiful. I don't have a good angle on that. Yeah. What? Oh, there was a bomb down there that I didn't see. That was a good bomb for them to throw. We could have gotten a lot more than that. I'm surprised. I guess maybe we got splatted on our way in by a lot of people. There we go. We want to destroy this so that they can't super jump to it. Okay, you're throwing the clam, but like I know that you're just gonna run that way and pick it up again. I don't get why people are doing that so much. So now, we've got this. Beautiful. I'm saving this clam because I will reset it more if I throw it when the timer has ticked down and buy us more time to be able to get clams score again. This should be game if we just come back in with 3 more clams. Unfortunately, we died there, so I think we lose the basket. No, no, you're clutch. Let's go. Cat's telling you to go to sleep. Yeah, maybe. I think that was the end of the series, though, right? Or maybe I've got one more. Thoughts on sub power up? On burst bomb weapons, it's pretty good. I just don't know that there are that many weapons that want it enough over other stuff you could have. Oh, I need one more game. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to play one more game. I use max sense. +5, +5. Oh, hi, Strawberry. GG. Tower, Mincemeat, and Sturgeon. I would love to play the Blaster on the Tower Mincemeat, but I would not love to play the Blaster on the Tower Sturgeon. Well, let's try the Blaster. Oh, there's the Blaster. Okay, and from here, we want to go this and that, even though that's not, those aren't the subs I want. And that's good enough. Not as much swim speed as I would want, but... Alright, here we go. Can you play Squeezer without breaking your pad? I would hope so. Some people manage to do it somehow. Bad at hitting over ledges like that. It's something I need to work on. I always hit the wall instead. I'm too anxious. More important to pick a weapon based on mode or map choices. The combination of the two makes a big difference. Blaster in general is better on tower control, but there are also certain maps that it's going to be better at, specifically. Darn, I wanted to play this on Mincemeat, but whatever. This is still a better map mode. Oh my god, I should have had that already. If my teammate dies to this. Okay, there we go, saved him. I was going to say, if my teammate dies to this, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself for missing that first shot and not having enough time to save them. But we got the direct, baby. Oh, they got inside there. Shoot. We're in good shape, though. Okay, that's ours. Nice. Wait until they're out of charge, and then I'll try and take the 1v1. Ah, that was a really good flick from the Flingza. Covered the angle that I was shooting from. I really like the way that the team is backing up also in response to us not being in control right now. You do not get to take the tower yet. I'm sorry. Oh, that was a mistake. Just the gal. I don't even know if that Flingza knew I was there. They were just trying to stop the tower instead. Sometimes you do just have to panic and run at the tower, but I feel like in that position, probably should have looked at me a little bit. Alright. You didn't booyah once this whole stream. I'm going to bed. Oh, dear. I mean, I've played at least 5,500 hours, and that's probably like average of like 6 or 7 matches per hour. After that many games, the booyah at the beginning, it's like, it's whatever. But here. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We're gonna go and raid. There's Amy is coming in clutch with being Australian and being on a time zone that's awake right now. We're gonna send y'all over to Amy Saika. Amy is very cool squid streamer, and we like Amy, and that's about all I have to say about that. I'm gonna put my links in the chat real quick. I am a full-time content creator and appreciate you checking stuff out. I do a whole bunch of educational content on YouTube and TikTok. I have a Twitter account that I post to frequently. There's a Discord server that you can join for Squid School. All sorts of different stuff. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me there, and a Medify account if you would like to support me and also get private coaching from me in exchange for that. The Patreon gives you some input on the content that I make, but the Medify is I will teach you how to be good at Squid Game better. So that's also a thing that exists. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate having you guys here. We're going to go and say hi to Amy. Say, school's out. That is our raid message, as always. Catch you all later, everybody. Well, wait a minute. It needs to do the countdown. I thought it did the countdown already. So now I'm just sitting here awkwardly killing time until I can actually press the the raid now button. Okay, raiding now. Bye.